you were gearing up, weren't you, when
Sorry, I wasn't ignoring you earlier. I heard you. I felt you whack me on the back. How you doing? You alright?
You may have noticed that we have two lovely cakes out the front here. They've been made by a very special, multi-talented member of Guildford Archery Club. He's our second longest serving member, aside from Colin, and he's my predecessor as tournament organiser. We welcome Rick Brown.
Hi everybody. I was told, or asked rather, 2 days ago if I would do the honours and cut the cakes as I made them, and but I don't see any pickaxe here. But I was also asked to say a few words, so it's only going to be a few. A bit like my hot cross bun shoot, you know, I'll tell you one thing and it's something different afterwards. Right, although I've been a member, stop shaking, although I've been a member for 35 years, in the past I've been able to look through all the old committee minutes, and when I joined the club, there's nothing in the minutes to say that I've been accepted as a member. And even now I've held several positions, so I assume from that that, you know, my membership was approved. I'm not sure if I should kick him or thank him, but someone sitting on the top table here by the name of Colin, who enticed me into the sport of archery. I used to work alongside Colin at Royal Mail, and every Monday morning I would get from him is how well he shot and how many beers he had over the weekend while shooting. So it all sounded too good and I had to join in. So thank you, Colin. The club has had many changes over the years, but when reading through the old sets of minutes, you think time has stood still, because nearly every minute says, can we have some help for this or that? Oh, don't forget, we need help for the acorn. So nothing has changed here. Compared with a lot of other archery clubs, we're very lucky, or been lucky, in the last couple of venues to have sole use of a field where we're able to leave the targets out all the time, but none better than we have now. Thanks also go to all those past and present who have helped to achieve what the club has achieved over the years. It was always the club's vision in my early days, and Colin would agree, that the vision was that the club was going to buy its own land to have what we've got, similar to what we've got now. But because of the cost of land nowadays, then I think you'll agree what we've got now is even better than doing that, and probably cost us a lot less money. There's just one little story. I was talking to somebody about this story, and I think one or two people here will really remember it well. Is the Take a Break shoot. When we were at the university ground on one Wednesday for the shoot, it absolutely bucketed down with rain for 20 minutes or so. but in that time there was enough water that come down the field, ran into all the bivvy tents and Steve's gazebo. Steve was, as usual, flat out on these deck chair. And this is quite a few years ago now, so he hasn't changed a lot over those years, you know. And also, there was something floating in the water. I can't remember what it was, but I'm sure most of you will know what it is. Beer cans. But that, sadly, not a single person had a camera that day, so we've got no picture of it, which is such a shame, especially in this day and age when we can take photos on anything. Anyway, that's it from me. I'm just going to say, with this knife, I'm going to make a cut on the cake, and as part of the celebration to mark the 60 years of Guildford Archery Club. So it's a happy anniversary, 60th anniversary to Guildford Archery Club.
Yeah.
Can you hear me, ladies and gentlemen? Fine. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've got 2 bits to do. You're going to hear from me now for a couple of minutes, and then a little bit later. My duty is to thank, and is to introduce really, Mr. Peter Lee, our High Sheriff of Surrey, Councillor Diana Lockyer-Nibbs, who is ex-mayor, only just ex-mayor of Guildford. Your term of office finished on last Wednesday, so only just ex-mayor, but a real friend of the club. And you may remember Diana coming and shooting. I think you're the first mayor that's actually managed to put an arrow right in the gold at the. Yes, well, yes, you did rather well there. So, Diana, Aaron Coggan, who is the development manager for Archery GB, and another huge friend of the club, very supportive of Guildford. So, ladies and gentlemen, and our special guests, and there's really too many of you to mention by name, but I did want to mention Gwyn, who's with us today, who. We're just so pleased that you're here. Thank you very much for joining us. And Maggie, where's Maggie? I can't see where Maggie is. Maggie's outside having a cigarette, yeah? and Pat, there's Maggie, there we are. And Graham Potts, and your family, your lovely family. Thank you. And all of our other special guests who have been members of the club many years ago have taken the time and effort to come down here. So you're all very, very welcome indeed. Thank you for helping us celebrate this very special event. Now, we hope you've had a splendid afternoon so far, despite the rain. We've just about managed to duck in and out of the rain, and there will be opportunities to do a little bit more archery at the end of the afternoon. But before we go any further, and I mustn't forget to do this, I want everybody to thank the ladies who have put this afternoon tea on, the ladies in the kitchen. I don't know whether they can hear us. Can they come out? I just want to give them a very special round of applause. Where are they? Are they hiding? Yeah, they're hiding. They can come out. I think they've all got stage fright. So, Jenny and Heather and Pat in the kitchen. Thank you, ladies. Jenny's put so much effort into all of this, and Heather, and I understand that the jam that we've had is made from the local damsons, is that right? Picked locally, yeah, and you've made it fantastic. So it's really, this is a real local event, fantastic. The Patho, I just need to explain something about the Patho News thing that's going on here. This is what was happening in our country in 1954 when the club was formed. It was a year when formal rationing ended after the Second World War. It was when Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile, and it was really the beginning of the nuclear age. So what better time to start an archery club? Well, that's when it was, that's when it was. And the music that you're hearing in the background, for those that can, they're the #1 hits from each of the years. We've got up to the 60s at the moment, but they're the #1 hits from around about that time each year, leading right the way through to the present day. I don't know how far we'll get. We'll probably get through to the 90s, I suppose, today. So just to give you a little bit of an idea of what's happening there. Now it's now my pleasure to just tell you what's going on for the rest of today. In a moment, I'm going to invite Mr. Peter Lee, the High Sheriff of Surrey, to say a few words about his passion for getting young people involved in sport. And then Peter has kindly agreed to present Colin, our current president, with the President's Medal of Office. Now, this is a brand new piece of regalia. We thought after 60 years it was about time we had something new. So this is a brand new piece of regalia. It's a handcrafted medal, which Colin will take custody of at the moment. It has on it, when it's presented, have a look, because it has the names of previous presidents, so it's a little bit from the past, and of course it will be passed on into future generations. So it's a really nice, so have a look at that when that happens. So Peter will be handing that to Colin in a moment. Colin will then be invited to say a few words about his long association with our club, and he will be proposing a toast. And can I ask you, when the ladies hand out the toast, that you don't sip it immediately, just wait for the toast at the end of Colin. Yeah? That's lovely. Simon's then going to tell you a little bit about this fantastic history project that he's been working on with Marion. We'll also be presenting a special award to those people that have made a significant contribution to our club in recent years. So once that's all done, and I've just changed the order so everyone's panicking a little bit now, we're then going to have a break, 10-minute, 15-minute comfort break for everybody, and then the highlight of the afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, our Archery Ladies Choir. This has got to be a first. It's fantastic. I know they've been working really hard. They've been having professional tuition. And I want you to give them an absolutely amazing Guildford Archery Club welcome when it's their turn. So that will be immediately after our break. Then I'll tell you a little bit about some of our future plans in the club. And then finally, Aaron's going to say a few words, and development manager for Archery GB, about what's happening in the future for archery. So that's all absolutely fantastic. At the end of all of that, if it's not raining, and we've got to move through this, at the end of all of that, we're going to go and plant a tree. It's an English yew tree, synonymous with archery and the English longbow, so we're paying respect to the past as well through that. But again, this tree could live for another 400 or 500 years. We'll certainly outsee me. So let's hope it continues to grow. So that's what's happening today. We will hope to finish around about 5:30, 5:45, lots happening. And then at the end of all of that, if you still have the strength and the energy, the have a go is still taking place, and go and have a look at our exhibition. Those that haven't seen it, we've collected together lots of old bows and memorabilia going back over 50 or 60 years. So go and have a look at that and remind yourself how people used to shoot. So, without further ado, I would now like to invite Mr. Peter Lee to say a couple of words and to present Colin with the Medal of Office.
Thank you, Steve, for that kind introduction, and thank you very much for inviting me to join you in celebrating your 60th anniversary, your Darwin Jubilee. I congratulate you. It gives me particular pleasure to be here because one of my... I thought I was being heckled. Not yet. Not yet. Because, one of my themes that I'm seeking to promote during my year as High Sheriff is getting young people into sport. Sport in the broadest sense of the word, I mean activity and physical exercise. This generation is the least active in human history. To be fair, it's not entirely their fault. Nowadays, it's possible to conduct your entire life sitting at your computer, whether it's work, homework, shopping, or leisure. You don't actually need to stand up anymore. And there's a growing problem, literally, of obesity in the young, and it's a major public health concern. I want to give all young people in Surrey the opportunity to be active in life, to make exercise a part of their day. Why? Because sport is inclusive, regardless of your abilities, disabilities, age, or background. And archery is a good example of this. Young or old, male or female, abled or disabled, you can all participate. There are no barriers. And the benefits of sport are huge. Health. If you exercise more, you get fitter and you stay healthier. It also builds confidence, discipline, self-esteem, and personal achievement. You learn values which serve you not only in your sport, but in life. Teamwork, respect, enjoyment, and sportsmanship, learning to win and lose with grace. So how am I going to achieve this? And I recognise it's a huge task. Firstly, I hope to encourage and develop sport in schools. Secondly, to promote investment in facilities, equipment and people. And thirdly, to establish and build links between schools and community sports clubs. So how is youth sport in Surrey? It's in pretty good shape, I think. There's an organisation in Surrey called Active Surrey, hosted by Surrey County Council and run by Campbell Livingston. I think you know something of the work of Active Surrey and you've got close association with them. They're doing a fantastic job in promoting a number of initiatives and projects in Surrey, including, for example, the P&G Surrey Youth Games, which is a multi-sport competition held over 2 days in June, in which all 11 districts and boroughs in Surrey enter teams. There are 15 different sporting events. That's hosted by Surrey Sports Park, a fantastic venue which is open to the whole community, not just Surrey University. There are also Surrey Sports Club forums, which you can contact and contribute to. And the Youth Sports Trust, which is a national charity whose objective is devoted to getting young people into sport. And volunteers are vital and much valued. Without volunteers, none of this and many other events around the county would be possible. This club exists and runs and flourishes because of volunteers. There's also the Surrey County Playing Fields Association, which exists to help to look after and protect our playing fields, which are arguably already, we've lost too much to urban development. We're fortunate in Surrey to have many green spaces and be close to those spaces or near sporting facilities. So there's no excuses and equally no room for complacency. So tell your children to get out there, participate and enjoy. I've already got my eye on a little baby over there. And finally, may your arrows fly straight and true, notwithstanding the ferocious gale that's blowing outside. Thank you very much.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if I can call Colin up here, please, to the front, and then we'll ask Peter to present the President's Medal. And it's an absolutely fantastic job here.
Thank you, Mr. Peter Lee, High Sheriff of Surrey. I'd now like to ask our President, Mr. Colin Hellersley, to say a few words and propose a toast to Guildford Archery Club.
Really lovely to see you all here, and I feel so honoured and proud. More than you'll ever know. I'm the luckiest chap alive. I've survived all these years, and it's come to a wonderful event here, and nobody could be more happy. I'd like to thank our dignitaries because, I mean, they get invited and they don't have to come to these things. And I'm so proud that they've come to ours. Thank you all so much. In the past, a long time ago, I was a boy. I started archery at 11 years old because they wouldn't let me start me earlier. And I started with Dennis's Archery Club. Now, my association with Guildford started when I was 13, and I worked it out, it was about 50 years ago. My goodness. I've grown with the sport, with Guildford Archery Club. We've grown up with our children coming into the sport. My wife's always been a great support to everything we've tried to do, which I really do thank her for, because I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for her. One of the things that comes to mind about the past, that because of my friend Mick, on his first committee meeting, we never used to have committee meetings in grand venues. We used to go to different people's houses, and we went to Doc Watten's house on his first initiation into our committee, and we had a lovely meeting. It was great. Doc Watten brought out the bull's blood. It was a homemade brew. One by one, the committee left the table and went home, and we were left there. There was Doc, Nick and myself still there at 2 o'clock in the morning, and all of a sudden I saw Doc going upstairs, and I thought, where's he going then? So Nick and I had another drink because it was there to have. At the time we were postmen, both postmen, and we had to be up at 4, we had to be at work by 5, and to be fair, bull's blood wasn't the best thing to go to bed with because it did give you a headache. But eventually I said, I don't think he's coming back down, I think he's gone back to bed, he's gone to bed, he's left us here. So Nick said, well, I suppose we better go then. Poor Mick, his first initiation meant a headache in the morning, and he probably couldn't remember the meeting anyway. So it's a great club to be in. We've had lots and lots of wonderful things that I can't possibly begin to tell you about. And I do thank you all so much for coming. It really does come from the heart. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, do we all have a glass of bubbly to toast the club? If we don't have a glass of bubbly,
Anybody else?
Long may
Thank you, Colin. And now I'd like to call forward Mr. Simon de Kretser, who will tell you a little bit about the History Project, and Mrs. Diana Lockyer-Nibbs, past Mayor of Guildford, who presents some special awards.
Good afternoon, everyone. The sun's come out. What can be asked for? When when Colin and various people proposed this event, what seems like a long time ago now, probably, I don't know, September time, I rather rashly said, oh, I know what I'll do. I'll do a history book. How hard can that be? Turns out it's quite hard. So we set off, and as you do, you think, oh yeah, May, ages away, no problem at all. And rapidly the time got eaten up, and it was a bit of a scramble, but we did make it. But in the process of making it, we found a whole lot of stuff about this fantastic club that we didn't know, and I rather suspect a lot of people in the club at the moment didn't know either. One of the most useful things was the fact that there have been newsletters produced by this club for almost every year of its 60-year history. Sometimes only one a year, sometimes 4 or 5 a year, sometimes just 1 page of A4 paper, and sometimes a magnificently produced 20-page magazine. And very kindly, over the years, various members of the club have seen fit to put them aside, and there is a folder full of all of these fabulous newsletters, with only a very small gap here and there in the history of the club. So we had a fantastic time reading through all of these stories of shoots and social events and people coming and people going, and it was absolutely fascinating. On top of that, there have been a remarkable number of pictures available as well, which have made the production of the book such a pleasure to put into place. Because it means that rather than being a book full of names and dates and places and rather dry and dusty information that may be of interest to a few, it's become a book that's actually full of pictures, and I always think that's much more interesting. So this is what we have put together, and I'm going to do a bit of shameless plugging now. It's available for a very modest cost of £5, which covers the cost and makes a little contribution to this fantastic club. So if you would like a copy, later on you can buy them from me in the clubhouse itself. But part of the process, I think as someone has already alluded to, of looking back through all this information is realising how little things really change. So as you may have seen in the clubhouse, although the bows and the arrows and the equipment we've used has changed probably beyond all recognition, the issues and the problems and the delights and the general sort of day-to-day running of an archery club seems to be the same now as it was 60 years ago. In those days, there were still the pleas for more volunteers for this, more volunteers for the Acorn, how are we going to get more members, why do people leave, all the usual problems, which I suspect will probably, unfortunately, still be here in another 60 years' time. But one thing that does come through, and I think it's not unique to Guildford Archery Club, it's probably not even unique to archery clubs, is that sports clubs across this country rely almost exclusively on the volunteers who make them happen. And those people contribute time and money and sweat and blood and tears, no doubt, to make their clubs what they are. And this club is a really good example of that. And it wouldn't be where it is today if it wasn't over the years for people who have donated tremendously generously to this club to get it where it is. It would be impossible to name every single person over 60 years who has made a contribution, significant or otherwise. We would be here for a week while I read you the list of all the names of people. So what we thought we would do is try and recognise a number of people who in the recent history of the club have made what the committee considers to be a significant contribution to the life and the success of the club. So I would like your permission to call a few people up here to accept a token of gratitude from this club for the service and effort and dedication that they have given. So if I can read those through, if Diana wouldn't mind handing them on, that would be very kind. Thank you. Yes. You two stand there, Diana. I will pass you the necessary and pull them up. Right. So, as I've said, an almost impossible task to arrive at a list of names, but the names that I have here are people that the committee universally agreed are worthy of an appreciation of their effort. So there are two people on this list who unfortunately can't be with us today, so I will name them first, which is Jeff Baton and Val Smith, both of which I know you will probably mostly know. If you'd like to give them a small round of applause in their absence. I'll call up each of the others in turn. Perhaps you'd just like to give them a little round of applause as they come up. So the first would be Mick Brown, of course. Colin Ellis. Next, we would like to thank Steve Lingwood.
I couldn't have a bit of time.
Congratulations, don't drop that all the time.
Next is Rodney Morrison. And next, Mike Nay. And then, Nikki Stolarski. And next, just to avoid any strife, Jan Stolarski.
Don't let that fall off.
Trying to be in the pictures. Next, Steve Tully. Someone who I know has travelled a long way to be with us today, but has made a significant contribution, Gary Reddings. And last on the list, someone who I think we would all agree has been instrumental in introducing hundreds of people to our sport, and does it with incredible good grace, Brian Lodge.
Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this small band of people represent, I think, if you like, this generation's stalwarts. There's people who go that extra mile for the club, and without whom this club and any club couldn't possibly function. So can I ask you all to give a final round of applause to our major contributors.
Ladies and gentlemen, Guildford Archery Club Choir.
Thank you very much for the warm welcome you've given the choir before they sing. Very much hoping that they get an equal, if not better, round of applause after they've sung. I'd just like to acknowledge this wonderful group of ladies who've been with us at the Music Works for the last not very many weeks, very short period, and have worked on what you're going to hear this afternoon, which we hope you enjoy. I should tell you what we're going to sing, shouldn't I? So first of all, we will be thrilling you with a little bit of Mozart, and we'll then be moving on to something by Bob Dylan that we think you'll recognise, and finishing off with a rousing tune from that well-known songwriter, Barry Garlow. Oh no, that's not Barry Garlow, the other one. Okay, so are we ready? Very long entry.
Could offer The skies up above me, yeah. The stars so bright, you blind me, yeah. Don't close your eyes, don't fade away, don't fade away. Oh, yeah, you and me, we can ride on a star. If you stay with me, girl, we can rule the world. Yeah, you and me, we can light up the sky. If you stay by my side, we can rule the world. If walls break down, I will comfort you. If angels cry, I'll be there for you. You saved my soul, don't leave me now, don't leave me now. Oh, yeah, you and me, we can ride on a star. If you stay with me, girl, we can rule the world. Yeah, you and me, we can light up the sky. If you stay by my side, we can rule the world. All the stars are coming out tonight, they're lighting up the sky tonight. For you, for you. All the stars are coming out tonight, they're lighting up the sky tonight. For you, for you. Oh, yeah, you and me, we can ride on a star. If you stay with me, girl, we can rule the world. Yeah, you and me, we can light up the sky. If you stay by my side, we can rule the world. All the stars are coming out tonight, they're lighting up the sky tonight. For you, for you. All the stars are coming out tonight, they're lighting up the sky tonight. For you, for you. Yeah, you and me, we can ride on a star. If you stay with me, girl, we can rule the world. Yeah, you and me, we can light up the sky. If you stay by my side, we can rule the world.
Give us a song, Steve. Sorry you asked that.
Yes, you wouldn't want me to sing. Ladies and gentlemen, wasn't that just fantastic? I've got to say, Amy and I came up with this crazy idea about 2 months ago and said, how about having a ladies' choir? I went along to see Andy and Kate at the Music Works in Milford, and they agreed to teach the girls. And then we didn't know whether anyone would volunteer, and then we had 6 people, and then we had 4 people, and suddenly we had 10 people, and that's who you've seen today. And I went, the very first rehearsal, they were so nervous, they said, we can't sing, none of us can sing. Well, they can, can't they? They really can sing. Yeah. Absolutely terrific. And there you go, that's what you can do if you put your mind to it. And that's really the story, our new story at Guildford Archery Club. This has been a really special year for our club. Let me tell you a couple of the highlights that have happened before I hand over to Aaron. We promised that we wouldn't go on too late, and I think we're going to meet that promise as well. So, these Diamond Jubilee celebrations actually put a line in the sand for us. They allow us to reflect on a rewarding past that we've had in this club, but they also allow us to look forward to an exciting future, and that's what this is, really. I've been reflecting on the many, many photographs that Simon and Marion have uncovered, and it becomes quite clear to me that really the current crew, we've just inherited a legacy, really, and we're going to be passing that on to another generation. So we just have our little opportunity. This is our snapshot in time. So we've begun this evening by recognising and remembering and thanking all of those that have helped us on our journey so far. The commissioning of the President's Medal and the idea of planting an English yew tree, which I said earlier on is synonymous with the traditional parts of archery, they're all symbols really of our past, but they'll be retained by the club as a legacy going forward. Now, archery is very much part of our country's culture. Excuse me. It's the choir, it made me quite feel like actually. Archery is clearly an established Olympic event now, and I mentioned earlier on Graham Potts. Graham was one of the official judges at the 2012 Olympic Games, so welcome to you, Graham. We're constantly reminded about our sport, aren't we? It's really part of our culture. There are new films, new television programmes like Arrow, we've got Brave and all those sort of things that are reminding people about archery, so they're still coming in droves now to our sport, on the back of the Olympic legacy as well. But also you've got these old sayings that we still talk about, being highly strung, straight as an arrow, keep it under your hat. All of these expressions are all steeped in tradition, steeped in archery, and place names as well. Wherever you see something like, St Mary's Butts or whatever, old archery targets, that's what it's, and it's still very much part of our culture. At the beginning of 2014, our club received a £3,000 grant. We're really, really chuffed with that. I think it was Peter who mentioned Active Surrey. We got that grant for our work with young people, for our work with the university, and that's enabled us to set up a satellite club that David's involved in, and that's enabling us to take that part of our sport forward. 5 or 6 years ago we had 2 juniors, I think, 1 or 2 juniors in our club. Now we've got about 40, David? It's something like that. So it's been, and this is our lifeblood, this is our future, so it's fantastic. And many of those guys have been here today, and you will have noticed we call them rookies. It was their name for themselves. They have been working on the Archery Have a Go. They've been helping hand out the medals and things that you've received. And again, that's a gift to you from our club to represent this day. So take them and please wear them with pride. Tell them where you got them. In March of this year, after a huge amount of work, and I have to say encouragement from Diana, because when Diana came along to our Acorn event last August, she said to me, "What are you doing with this old shed?" And I said, "Well, we haven't got the money to do much about it." And she said, "Steve, I'll give you some backing." She said, "Get on and do something about it." So that's what we did. Simon and I burnt the midnight oil. We spent many weekends putting forward a grant application. We told Aaron about our grant application, and he said, "Well, good luck guys, but there's an awful lot of people out there. You'll be really, really lucky to get something, but I'll back you, I'll help you." So Diana's help, encouragement. And then I went to talk at Surrey with Les. Where are you, Les? I can't see Les over there. And we told the other clubs that things are possible. And I can now announce that we have now received a £45,500 grant from Sport England, which is a stonking amount of money. And with that, thank you. With that money, we're going to buy 25 new Atlas targets, and we're going to build a new storage facility. You will have seen a planning application notice go up. That is us. We're going to replace our old shed down at the bottom with a new storage facility. And we're also going to use that storage facility, copying the plan up at Lilleshall, the National Sports Centre, for a skills development centre. It's going to be more modest than Lilleshall because obviously we're only a club, but nevertheless it's going to allow people to shoot undercover, to be videoed, etc. And that's, I think I'm just so proud of our achievement for the South East, for archery, and particularly for our club. So that's true. So those two successes, early successes this year, have enabled us to consolidate our position here at Manor Fruit Farm. Mick was talking earlier on about us being here. It was through the efforts of previous people that we now have this ground. And I'm also pleased to announce that Manor Fruit Farm has just been designated under the Queen's Fields in Trust initiative. What that means is that this ground will always remain designated for its current use in perpetuity. So that means that our 125-year lease is rock solid, and I am so delighted because that gives us a real legacy for us to build on in the future. We're now a club of 225 people, and that number is due to increase. So what of the future? Well, in the short term, we're hard at work trying to deliver our new skills performance unit, and it'll have a new sort of short range to shoot on as well. The project's going to be known as The Box, so if you start hearing people talk about The Box, Simon's name, marketing name, excellent Simon, but The Box, that's what it's about. That's our new unit down there. The current committee, we want to try and push boundaries. Our ladies' choir is an example of us pushing boundaries, so thank you to them for helping me with this. What we're trying to do is to respect the achievements of the past, but instead of saying why things can't be done, and I hear that a lot in archery, we want to tell people why things can be done, and that's really important to us. The club will, I hope, and there's been a bit of a saga, and I haven't got long enough to tell you about BT, but Simon might do later. The club are getting a new broadband connection. I've got later this year. It might be next month. We're getting there. That's going to enable us to do electronic scoring, live video links, and online coaching videos. We've got our first live, we hope, online competition scheduled in August. So that means that we can shoot real time against other clubs, actually anywhere in the world. Although initially we're going to be shooting against Chessington, just in case we need to get in the car and go down and sort things out. But Logie Bear had to start somewhere, so why not? You know. So this is us trying to push the boundaries. And we're particularly keen to see specialist groups develop and grow in our club. We're helping our longbow team set up a new regional competition this year, and Kevin's very much involved in that. Our compounder group have now established a really strong nucleus, and hopefully that's going to start to pull together. And our rookies, as I mentioned earlier on, are growing from strength to strength, and they have their first proper team competition later this month, and good luck with that, guys. Our ladies are also growing in number, and I made a unilateral decision here. Marion and Simon are our lady and gentlemen's club captains, and they will be encouraging you going forward, and Simon's already started, to enter outside competitions. And we're starting to go in strength of numbers to these bigger competitions and support those initiatives. So that's absolutely brilliant. Now, we're a community archery club, and our emphasis is, we hope, on fun today and enjoyment. Hopefully you've enjoyed yourself today. The choir, as I said, it's probably a first. I don't know if this has been done anywhere else. Aaron, do you know of any other archery club that has a ladies' choir? Well, there we are, so that's the first. So, ladies, we do applaud you all for that. Now, as we grow and develop, talented shooting stars will doubtless come to the fore, and we're obviously keen to help them. But we also want to develop shooting skills at all levels within our club, and we want to help everyone grow their talent to the level that they require. And some people will fly and others will be club archers, and that's just absolutely fine by us. And that's what we're trying to encourage here. I'm very, very proud, as you can gather, of Guildford Archery Club, of what we've achieved and what hopefully we're destined to do in the future. And we're going to support our governing body absolutely in their endeavours and taking matters forward. Thanks to all of you, our current members, our past members, and our many friends and colleagues who are here today, and others who sadly have now passed away. We remember all of you, we thank all of you, and it wouldn't be possible without you. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Steve. I'd now like to call on Mr. Aaron Cogan, Development Manager at Archery GP, to say a few final words.
Normally when I go to archery clubs I get shouted at. I don't often get goosebumps listening to that choir. That was absolutely amazing. And Steve's right, there's a lot of, probably a lot of bleating in archery clubs, but not singing in archery clubs. And as far as I know, there is no club with a choir or anything like that, so that's absolutely fantastic. It gives me great pleasure in joining you here today to celebrate Guildford Archery's 60th anniversary. Thanks Steve for inviting me and the club for inviting me. I took the opportunity to look at the figures that we hold in the national office, and for the past few years Guildford Archery Club has consistently been one of the biggest clubs in the country. And as Steve mentioned, you know, an increase of 50 members, double the junior membership in the last few years. You're obviously doing something right, which is absolutely fantastic. Steve mentioned before I was going to talk about the future for archery. I'm not going to bore you with that at all. I'm actually here for a different reason. Guildford Archery Club were one of our early adopters of our club development programme, and Steve says I'm a friend of the club. Well, the club is a friend of our work as well. And I'd personally like to thank you for that. Last year, through the On Target programme, the club became a performance specialism club, and obviously, as Steve mentioned, set about upgrading the facilities for members. So it's fitting that we're here to celebrate everything good with archery, and obviously specifically the club. And as I said, it's a perfect occasion for me to add something to it, not just, you know, come and sit at the top table, although I did feel a bit like the panel on X Factor. I was hoping I wasn't going to press any buzzer, because as been mentioned by many people who have stood up here today, volunteers are the lifeblood, and that's something that's used, that word's used a lot, but it really is of voluntary clubs, and especially archery clubs. The work that's gone on over the last 60 years wouldn't have taken place for those volunteers. As such, through our club development programme, we run club and volunteer awards each year, and Guildford Archery Club were nominated for one of these awards this year. The nominations we've had were very strong. It was pleasing to see lots of grassroots work going on, and we were very impressed by those nominations. Some of the information, many of you will already know this already, that was given for the club included runner-up in the Guildford Community Sports Club of the Year, involved in Archery GB's big weekend last year and had over 100 visitors. Last year, over the last year, run 5 beginners courses, trained over 100 potential archers, and developed close links with Surrey University and worked with the University Archery Club. As we see, an organised, active, enthusiastic committee, a full and varied programme of events, including 4 regional competitions, a varied programme of social activities, skills workshops, the list goes on. So it gives me great pleasure in announcing that Guildford Archery Club have been awarded Archery GB's On Target Club of the Year. Invite Steve and Colin to come up as chairman and president to accept this modest little trophy.
Getting close.
It's bigger than your medal.
Thank you very much.
That's me.
Ladies and gentlemen, before I invite you outside to see the commemorative tree being planted, putting on this afternoon's event has taken a tremendous amount of hard work from some very special people. There's so many people to thank. People like Peter Evans, who cut the grass, John Davis and the juniors for the outdoor entertainment, Pat, Jenny, Heather, who provided the catering, Nikki, who did all the invitations and organised us all, Simon for all his lovely kind words and delving into the club history, to our fabulous lady choir, and especially to Marion, who's going to pay for it all. I'd also like to thank Julie and the other members of Normandy Bowling Club who lent us their lovely hall this afternoon. The idea and the planning this afternoon's tea really was a joint effort between Steve and Colin, and I think you'll agree they've done a fantastic job today. Steve, as chairman, puts in a tremendous amount of work for both in front of and behind the scenes. His drive and dedication are inspiring to us all, and he's changed the club beyond all recognition in the past few years. And it seems there's plenty more to come as well. I think we can safely say that, as well as being, as Aaron said, one of the biggest clubs in the country, we're also one of the friendliest, and it's largely due to his inspiring leadership. I'd now like to call on Catherine Jenkins to say a few words. When you finish with her, Matt? If you know the words, please join in.
Let's say goodbye with a smile, dear, just for a while, dear. We must part. Oh, let this parting upset you. I'm not going to get you, sweetheart.
Bury anybody?
No.
No.
Ready? Steady. Go. That's it. 3. Now